Da news with DaBaby, Rip headphone users. So it's just cancel fest, baby. I love it. Oh my god, I'm having it.
It literally is
Oh,
like cancel fest in the most like portmanteau way of the words, because at this point, six major music festivals, at least six, have pulled DaBaby from their lineup. And as we mentioned, notables like Elton John, Madonna, Questlove, a number of others have just like come out in their disapproval of DaBaby's comments. And
Meg Thee
DaBaby,
Stallion, a bunch, like so many high name artists and stuff.
yeah, the DaBaby, I posted this like as a clip on our YouTube, and so it's visible there because it happened as I was publishing the clip, so I was able to just like throw it in. But DaBaby did, so we're referencing audio now form at least. DaBaby did do a notes app style apology, as I like to call it, where you screenshot the notes app because you have finally some publicists entering the room and telling DaBaby, post this shit and like delete Twitter from your phone. Like, stop using the shit. You're making this much worse every single time. It was sort of like a fake apology. Again, sort of the whole like, I'm sorry for the people I offended in the LGBTQ plus community, watching my language words, etc. Blah blah blah, learning whatever. It was, again, like we alluded to last time, it didn't really change the factor of what he was doing. It didn't really show any sort of recompense or how he plans to remedy the action in any sort of way of what he did. I think there was one tweet that one of my friends sent that was something along the lines of, DaBaby's doing this entirely wrong. If he had it going like the right way, he would have had a remix with Lil Nas X out and booked a Red Table Talk by the end of the week. uh, yeah, like there's definitely a PR way to handle this. You can kind of clean this up a little bit, at least in the public eye, regardless of what your personal feelings are. But he didn't do it. And woman of the hour, Meg the Stallion, who does a cool little sidestep and not referencing noted little bitch Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez, who there's pending legal matters against for the alleged foot shooting incident of 2020.
Never forget.
Black feet matter. Anyways, the Meg the Stallion had a really like classy comment compared to what I just said in People magazine, saying it is about time. Representation is important, and it's really crucial for us to all have compassion for and acceptance for every human. And that's great to hear, because you get a lot of lazy sort of rhetoric, especially around this whole DaBaby thing, with rap being very misogynistic, very homophobic by nature, and that's absolutely true. We've talked about it. I was actually just remembering that we had to point out like MF Doom's homophobic lyrics at one point in the Doom episode we did, and in his memorial, the bonus episode that we did that people can listen to wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube. But it is like really prevalent throughout rap, unfortunately, and so that's definitely there. But it's important that not only do you have like gay rap superstars like Lil Nas X who are showing there on the representation side, but you have like straight allies who are out there saying like, we people of rap music who are also very prominent don't need to tolerate like bigotry in rap music anymore. Like we were way past that time now.
100%.
Yeah. There's more angles on this story. Miley Cyrus came to DaBaby's defense, a sentence I never thought I would be saying ever. But we know Miley Cyrus.
2021, man, this is a weird year in music.
We know Miley Cyrus's thing with black guys. So, anyways, Miley Cyrus reached out to DaBaby to start a conversation about homophobic remarks, saying, "quote It's easier to cancel someone than to find forgiveness and compassion ourselves, or to take the time to change hearts and minds." Which honestly, like, there's messenger aside, I think the message is like honestly fair. There's a point to be made that I think people would be a lot kinder and less like guns blazing in this DaBaby situation if DaBaby didn't like choose to double down, triple down, quadruple down, and make it like a whole cancel culture thing and align with all of like the worst people in music to like die on this hill. If this was like a stepping into it mistake once or twice, and then like you have people educate you about it and you do like a proper statement and then do a remix with Lil Nas X and book a Red Table Talk, then like then it's kind of like a different thing. And again, like we're kind of joking about that, like just like doing a song with a gay rapper and like appearing on a show doesn't like as an actual recompense. Like if you decide to perhaps donate to an HIV/AIDS research organization or something that helps get those medicines and make them more affordable for folks, maybe that'd be a really good way for DaBaby to remedy this situation tangibly and in a way that would actually change the matter. But truthfully, of all the things here, like I'm not going to be upset at Miley Cyrus for this thing. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, it's just hilarious. Never again, something never thought I'd read, but big K.
Yeah. Sometimes you find friends in the most interesting places, but yeah, there was a lot of interesting takes going on from the DaBaby thing, and I think the most interesting one, which kind of came our way, was this like viral Instagram post from an Instagram like handle called Feminist, which is awesome. This is gonna be great. And it's kind of like saying like, no, most homophobes are not secretly gay, making an argument that a kind of a counter argument, the saying that there's a rhetoric in media discourse that people who are just wildly, rampantly homophobic out on in public for whatever reason are not doing it because they have this like deep-seated bigotry and hatred. They're doing it because they're secretly hiding the fact that they're gay. And this is like this is a rhetoric that has gone out like a trope in media and TV. And like it's a noted trope that the post kind of goes into and talks about. The post is like sort of interesting, and it's like I guess like loose sourcing, let's say. Also, it's comparisons of like Mike Pence to DaBaby and using these like saying like, okay, well, these are both two instances in which people are accused of being gay when they're just like plain out homophobic. And I like, especially specifically in response to like Sean's sort of take that I sort of agreed with, that like DaBaby's situation sounds a lot like numerous situations in rap history, not just in, you know, tropes in media, but in rap history, where you have rappers who sometimes people call out for being extremely misogynistic and homophobic, and other times people go, oh, well, that's just like how it is, that's just how it be. And then it later comes out through rumors or other people telling their stories that like, no, like y'all got to know this person who says all this homophobic stuff is actually super duper gay. It's something that's like, sure, call it a trope or don't, but it's something that's happened in rap music history. And so just to shut off the Mike Pence for a moment, like Mike Pence was the former vice president of the United States. Before that, he was the governor of Indiana. He had tangible power and used that political power to open gay conversion therapy and allow that to happen in the state of Indiana. So you would like pray the gay out of people, oftentimes use forms of abuse, emotional and physical abuse, to get people to stop being gay. That is a political matter, and this isn't a political podcast, but it just became a political matter now because we're talking about the difference between Mike Pence, someone with political power, and fucking DaBaby, a ratchet ass like ghetto music artist who we criticized in our goddamn 20-minute video segment podcast thing that we did about the effects of you speaking from a platform and speaking about all these things in an uneducated manner, and then doubling, tripling, quadrupling down and making it an issue about censorship, the way like right-wing pundits have been doing for the past 4 or 5 years, instead of just like owning up to what you did. Then it became a political issue. So that's like the Mike Pence thing. Also, it's funny that only now you're getting these comments because during the past 4 years, we had this whole thing of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are secretly gay for each other that was based on even less evidence, that was still peddled by liberals and people who like were so-called intersectional feminists, but oftentimes would have this sort of, I guess, ignorant approach, let's say, to the cultures they try to represent and the true intersectionalities they're trying to oppose for, which is really where I get angry about this. But B, there is, to be said, a history of black rappers being homophobic and turning out to be in the LGBTQ spectrum. Yep. We can go back to like the 90s with artists who like, it's never like fully 100% sure because it's a cultural thing, and at that like generation level, it's harder to say. But then like, but there was speculation about 50 Cent. There's speculation about like Busta Rhymes, speculation about a bunch of other different artists. There are some artists who were just like more upfront about it and were openly gay about it. The Lil Nas X was not the first openly gay rap artist. There was a number of other ones, like even Lil Nas X and a lot of other like queer rappers today reference like just tons of artists. Like there's Cakes to Kill that comes to mind, but there are other gay rappers that are out there that are out. But then you have a bunch of ones that are in as well. And in case you're like, oh, damn, these are very like vague examples, I'm not really sure what you're talking about, Tyler the Creator, for those of us who weren't born yesterday, was releasing like he was a shock jock rapper, and he was
Super anti-gay stuff.
like,
Back in the early 2010s. Oh man.
yeah, there was an article in 2011 about like how Goblin, which he was just like releasing, had like more than 200 like homophobic or anti-gay lyrics according to the NME. And when quoted at that time, he said, "I'm not homophobic. I just think F slur for gay people hits and hurts people. It hits. And I think the word gay just means you're stupid. I don't know. We don't think about it. We're just kids." That was Tyler the Creator in 2011. And like there are things that were speculated about Tyler the Creator being gay. So one of the former members of the internet, I'm forgetting her name right now, unfortunately, but she said that like it was amazing being an Odd Future because they were saying all this homophobic shit and all these niggas were gay. And then in 2017, Tyler the Creator releases "I Ain't Got Time," and like one of the lyrics is literally the next line will have him like, "Whoa, I've been kissing white boys since 2004." Like it's this is recent ass history, and like we talk
Play
about
it for the jury.
we talk about Tyler the Creator's history, about like when we talk about his like growth as an artist, right? His trajectory and how he's like grown out of being the shock jock thing and doing these very, very like deep songs. And you know, it's very clear he's on the like probably like bisexual end of the gender spectrum because he's like at least explored gay like life and style and things like that. But also in Call Me If You Get Lost has a lot of songs about like women and seeing like women he's dating. So like that's perfectly fine. That fluidity is perfectly fine. And Tyler the Creator speaks fairly maturely about that now. But again, it wasn't just 10 years ago. He would have been like the poster for this sort of like, again, called a tired out trope in media or whatever. But this is real. Like this is stuff that's actually happening. And there's a certain erasure of rap culture and black culture that happens when you have these viral Instagram posts that go out there. And even worse so when you have people who are only informed by these viral Instagram posts, who are then like going out there and like acting holier than thou to other people. And as though they're not misinformed, and though their 20 seconds of scrolling on an Zuckerberg's app makes them more informed about an issue of black culture when they don't understand it. So like some of y'all gotta chill. I'm saying like, our defense still stands, and like we'll still hold the fact that a lot of these like, oh, not all like that's a totally fair point. Not all homophobes are gay. That's not just like a fair like cover for things. That's not what we're saying at all. But let's look at the context of what we're talking about. DaBaby, jury is very much out.
Exactly.
Any more comments? Because like truthfully, that was like what you said, but I kind of got annoyed because like what you were saying was like very accurate, and there's like a lot of black media and all this like culture
trying to misconstrue all of that, and I'm like, no, it's just look at the history of it. Happens all the time.
Yeah, I also, for people who in good faith really want to learn more about this, there is Hiding in Hip Hop by Terrence Dean, who used to be an executive at MTV, who wrote a memoir in 2008 where, you know, some names are changed around for like legal reasons, essentially. But like, that's how serious it is. Like, there are people who are rappers today or former rappers today who are ready to lar up because like people are about to out them and they're not like okay with being out yet, right? So this is like a very like real thing, but you still have these rappers who are like, these same rappers who are afraid of being like outed and stuff, being homophobic as fuck. And that's another example of a book that calls
that. The NFL as well all the time too.
Yeah, and that's a point we were making in the full video. So also, again, don't respond to 20 minutes of context with a 20-second like Instagram interaction, right? Like
exactly.
This is, again, more of a power report topic, but there's a smarter way to do politics. It doesn't involve that much more work, honestly, but it does involve like work and thought to it because these are people's lives and things like that. It's not just like viral bikini photos or whatever, like, you know, TikTok reels and shit. Like, it's this real fucking life here.
I called him Freddy.